Diamonds in the rough. NFL Draft Diamonds. Time to shine.
Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds, and I have with me today Leroy Watson. He is a tight end out of University of Texas out of San Antonio, UTSA. So, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic. So blessed to be here.
Nice to have you on, man. I mean, very just exciting things happening there for UTSA. I mean, you guys really had a fantastic season. We can maybe talk about that a little bit, but let's just kind of let people know a little bit about you, if you don't mind. Give me like a brief history of you and your career. Maybe tell us where you're from and how you got there to UTSA.
Absolutely. Well, I'm from Snellville, Georgia, most likely known as Atlanta, Georgia. I grew up in the suburbs, but we like to claim Atlanta a little bit.
Sure.
I went to Shiloh High School. I never really played sports growing up. Was not a sports fan at all. My brother played. My dad coached. Didn't like sports that much. I was more into the arts and singing and music, like my mom. But one day I randomly just like let me go play football because most of my friends was doing it, and that was like my sophomore year of high school. Did terrible, quit the first day. They were running entirely too much for me. I was a really chubby kid, so it was like terrible. I didn't want to do any of that. Came back the next year and actually made the team and played a little bit on JV and a couple snaps on varsity, and then ended up starting my senior year there at left tackle after one of our seniors got hurt. And then the rest was kind of history. Played it, got recruited to Hutchinson Community College after a showcase our high school did through Thaddeus Brown at the time, the recruiting coordinator. Had a great time there. Got to JUCO, got through the grind of junior college, which is something that is extremely, extremely special. For anybody that's ever been to junior college, it is one experience alone.
No doubt.
It's a grind for sure. It makes you really understand that you love the game.
Right. And then, of course, you finally found your way there to UTSA. So, how did that happen?
I got recruited through Gary Hyman and underneath Coach Frank Wilson. He got me here. They wanted a tight end to help come and rebuild and an older guy to kind of come in and lead. And I was originally going to go to UAB, as a matter of fact, but Coach Wilson talked me into coming and actually starting something and trying to be a part of history. And that was a big ticket point for me because I definitely didn't know what UTSA was before I came. I had no idea.
Well, I think everybody knows who UTSA is now for sure. So, hey, let's just again just kind of talk about you as a player. I mean, there's a part of me that feels like it's kind of interesting that you do have some experience on the offensive line. I mean, I think a lot of people when they look at you, I don't know if you like the label or not, but a lot of people might label you as like a blocking tight end. And whether that's good or not, I guess it depends on the situation. But how do you feel about that sort of stigma or label that maybe some guys might be giving you?
Personally, I love it. It's a calling card for me for two reasons. One, for the people that I play against, they think I'm a blocking tight end. That's all I can do, and they know that that's something they're going to have to be prepared for because I will block you and demolish you in the run game. But they don't know that I'm pretty fast and I have really good hands and I can run routes extremely well. So they most of the time they underestimate how much of a challenge it's going to be to guard me, which is fantastic.
Cool. So, you had mentioned there at the beginning that you really weren't, into sports growing up. But I mean, obviously, at some point, you got to be looking at the league, maybe looking at some talent at your position. Whether it be offensive line or tight end. I mean, is there a player in the league that you try and model your game after?
Absolutely. Going to the tight end goat Gronk. Once I transitioned into tight end, that was the only guy I really studied for a very long time. I saw how dominant he was in both aspects of the game, and the league kind of transitioned to more of a pass game first tight end, but a true Y is always still necessary, and he kind of proves that even in his older age, still being able to play and dominate. Him and more recently George Kittle.
Right, exactly. So I mean, Obviously, a guy who I know is a stellar blocker out there. You're blocking for really one of the better running backs in the country. You guys completely lighting it up, putting UTSA on the map over the past couple of years. Talk about your guys' success, if you don't mind.
It was a beautiful thing. We kind of knew that we were going to be really good. We knew we had the players 2 years prior. We just didn't shake out right. I think we ended that season at 7-4, and it really just took all of us coming together and buying into our offensive coordinator at the time, Barry Lunny, and just buying into the fact that we knew we could be really good. And underneath Coach Traylor, he's an amazing head coach. He's the best head coach in the country to me, and especially to our team. And we really believe in him, and we believed in our future. And it was an amazing thing. It was really like watching a movie, but you were in it. It was crazy.
Awesome. I mean, again, just want to highlight real quick. I mean, just kind of how that team has developed. I mean, I know you're playing alongside some great talent. A lot of that talent's going to be, or has been on NFL radars for a while. I think, some of those guys have been at the Senior Bowl. Some of
Yeah.
those guys have been, doing some fantastic things and all of that. So, real briefly, man, just talk to me about those studs there that you guys have had.
At the top of that list is probably Tariq Woolen, cornerback. He's a complete freak, 6'5", 4'3" runner. He's long and athletic and extremely violent. Sincere, of course, that's my guy. He's one of the best running backs in the country, real speedster, and he has a crazy footwork. Then you got my big fella that I've played next to a lot, Spencer Burford. That's my guy, man. He's a dominant force. He's crazy.
Gotcha. So, I mean, obviously, you guys are feeding off of each other all of the time. I mean, giving each other a little bit of, pointers, help, and obviously, you're blocking there, all the time for really a great running back. So, I mean, obviously, you guys are taking that running game, jamming it down people's throats, and really just having a dominant year. So, I believe this past season, I mean, you guys what? Was it like just one loss or something? Like
Yeah,
what
we
was
ended
your
up losing
record?
twice. I
Or
think
twice?
12 and
Okay,
2. Yeah, 12 and 2, the bowl game, and then to North Texas right before our championship game.
so but you guys won your championship, didn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. We won the West against UAB, and then we won the conference championship last year against Western Kentucky for the second time.
Nice. So I mean, of those games or anything else, I mean, is there maybe like I don't know, maybe a memorable game from your time there that really sticks out? Maybe a play or something you want to share?
Um, the first time we played Western Kentucky, it was like the hype was kind of starting to build. Everybody wanted to see if we were going to live up to what we thought we could be. And actually, me and the guy we just talked about, Spencer Burford, we had a competition going into that week. Whoever got the most pancakes that game would have to buy the other one dinner. Now, granted, when he makes it to the NFL and I meet him up there, he'll buy me dinner now. But for right now, I end up winning that bet. I think it was 8-7. It was a really close battle, but it was a fantastic time. We had a ball counting on the sideline as many we got. It was a fun time.
Awesome. You never think about a guy really being so proud of like his pancakes out there. I mean, as a tight end, as a tight end, I mean, there are some guys that really want the ball, but I mean, being a player like yourself who's really unselfish, who doesn't necessarily need that, who's willing to block, I do feel like teams would be interested in a player like you, especially in like short yardage packages, goal line packages, and always a guy that obviously, if you've got one thing down, being a solid blocker, they could easily, work you up in the mix, throughout their roster. So it's crazy. You have all of these receiving tight ends, but some of them, I kid you not, man, some of them don't know how to block at all. So
Yeah.
I do think that that's one of the better things you got going for you for sure. So um, how about well, I mean, again, you've been at this for a while. You've had a lot of great people help mold you into the person and player that you are. Is there maybe a particular lesson that you've learned from like one of your coaches, whether it be there at Hutchinson High School or UTSA? Is there maybe a lesson you learned from somebody?
There are probably two lessons I've learned through my college career that I want to pass on to anybody coming up. Um, in junior college, my tight end coach at the time was Cody Cook. He was he's the coordinator there now, offensive coordinator. This is when I first transitioned into the position of tight end, and I really thought I knew everything, especially playing O-line for so long. I knew how to block. I was like, I'm a big playbook guy, so I know to study my playbook. I want to know everybody's position, but I never really learned the full concepts. And he taught me how to actually learn the concepts of offensive schemes and reading defenses, and not just kind of winging it once you get out there. Learning that from him and learning how to actually study the game and watch film was an amazing thing that I learned from him. And then one of our coaches at UTSA, Justin Burke, he's probably the best coach I've ever had. He really taught me how to analyze defenses and using that against the people that you're going to play, and using that off the field stuff and using like film and different technology and doing all that stuff. It really helped me figure out the way to like become a better player and take that step forward, which I know I'm going to need at that next level.
Great. So, I mean, again, you're just kind of chatting about film a little bit. So, I mean, obviously, a guy who really takes time and effort to perfect your game in that area. Is there maybe a time that you could think of, like specifically, like where you were studying an opponent and it really played out in a game time situation? Like maybe an example. You found something out and you're like, man, I'm going to exploit this. So, can you give me that example?
Absolutely. Southern Miss. The whole week we knew they were going to run. They probably ran it maybe 16 times that game. We knew they were going to run this cover 2 shell. So we saw the kind of triangle build up. And at first I didn't pick up on it. But we saw when they brought their jack linebacker on the line of scrimmage, they would roll their mic to the middle of the field. And he was playing that Tampa 2 type of coverage where he would have to get to the middle of the field. And the whole week we knew kind of what the triangle would look like through film study. And me and my tight end coach, we talked about it because we saw it earlier and we had missed it. And we had a run call play. I mean, we had a run call already set in motion. Then we had a pause because we saw the coverage rotate to that. And then from the sideline, he checked all verticals, which we know that's the best way to attack that cover too, especially down the middle of the field with the big tight end. So as I was in my stance, I looked to the sideline. I see him giving the signal. So me and Frank automatically check it, go to that vertical, and I end up getting a touchdown that exact same play. And that's how like film translates directly into the game.
Awesome. Really appreciate you walking me through that. I mean, obviously, you got to take advantage of those things. That's part of the reason why we got to study film for sure. So it sounds like you've done a lot of that. I do want to kind of meet you outside of this game a little bit. I'm sitting there trying my best to, maybe do a little bit of research. Ended up finding out that you very musically gifted. So talk to me about that.
Yeah, my mom's a professional singer, and I grew up in the church, so I've always been around music. I learned how to play the drums early on, congo, stuff like that, a lot of different percussion. But my first love when it comes to music is the piano. I've played the piano probably since I was about 6 years old, and it's been an amazing thing. It's helped me through a lot of stuff, and it's like kind of my pressure relief from everything else. When football got hard or life got hard, I could always go to the piano. It's one sitting in my room right now. It's all decked out. But, I love music. I've sang for a long time, and I've always played the piano, and it's just always helped me.
So if you were to, what is the most challenging piece you've ever done on that piano? Like, can you recall something? Because there are some crazy ones out there. Like, if you really want to like challenge yourself.
Honestly, reading sheet music or playing a certain piece isn't that difficult because you have a formula to look at. It's really improvisation when you're following or playing behind someone else. So like playing a song and or playing for my mom, for example, if she goes off and like makes her own thing up, you have to be there with her and kind of know where they're going and follow them. That's probably the hardest thing, just being able to keep up with some people's improv, which comes from like jazz and stuff like that. But that's probably the hardest thing.
But I mean, obviously, it's something that you're able to adjust to accordingly, right? I mean, as long as like if it's in the key of C, I mean, you're just, I'm gonna sit here until she's finished or something. So interesting there. Guy from Georgia, talk to me about that hometown there, man. Like, if I were to come visit you, where would we have to go? What would we have to do?
First and foremost, we're gonna get something to eat. We're going to go to me, Georgia is known, especially Atlanta, Georgia. We're known for our wings. Wings they're the best in the country. I don't care. I've been a lot of places. None of the wings come close to Atlanta, Georgia. So we're going to go to Atlanta's Best Wings. That's the name of the restaurant. We're going to
Okay.
get some lemon pepper hot. So you got the hot buffalo sauce, but with lemon pepper sprinkles on top, some fries, a nice cold drink, and have a lot of fun.
Sounds good, man. I mean, obviously, I can almost always go for some wings. So, a couple more questions. Again, not football related, but just kind of for fun. Is there a favorite movie of yours, like that you've had, like of all time, or something close?
Absolutely. I'm a movie fanatic. I love movies. I'll watch movies all day, any day. My favorite movie is The Django. It is the most quotable movie ever to me. Me and my friends, we all quote it every single day. It was a fantastic movie.
Fun, definitely fun movie there for sure. So,
Absolutely.
let's see. Do you have a dream car? Like obviously, you want to get to the pros, maybe get that big paycheck. Is there a dream car that maybe one day like you really want to have?
Man, that's a rough one.
If
To be
not, we
honest, I've
could.
never really thought about it. Yeah, I've never really thought about it.
Well,
I'm
have
not
you
too big
thought?
into cars.
No, that's fine. But have you thought about this one? I mean, obviously, again, like I had mentioned, I mean, we obviously want to be able to, get to the pros so that we can be able to, be financially stable and all that. But, is there maybe any particular charity or cause that you feel like you might actually put forth your efforts to, like if you do have that opportunity?
Well, one, yeah, I do want to give back to my community back in Snellville, Georgia. It's a very it's the suburbs, but it's gone downhill after a couple of years. And I know I want to go back and rebuild that because there's a lot of gifted kids that's there that just probably not get that opportunity or that shine. And I know that if I started a center there, or if I help that area get a little bit more exposure, then I know it could blow up. The same thing here in actually San Antonio. There's a lot of talent here, and I'm glad that me and my team were able to put San Antonio back on the map, especially UTSA. But it's just a lot of little small areas that don't get the shine that big areas do that really could help.
Cool. So you said that you're in San Antonio right now. Is that where you're training for your pro day?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm staying at home. I trusted them to take care of me my entire career. I'm gonna trust them to get me to the next level. Underneath Ryan Philo and Esteban, all of our strength conditioning guys, they've done a great job embracing us all and helping us get to that next level and train for our pro day.
And what's that pro day going to look like for you? You have any expectations or goals?
Absolutely, I'm gonna show the hell out. That's the plan. I got to show out. That's kind of what I've always tried to do all the time, all my entire life. Bet on myself, and that's what we got to do. Then we'll have some fun.
Okay. Well, I mean, again, we kind of already know that this guy here can block very well. I mean, again, one of the better blocking tight ends in the country. So I mean, obviously they want to have you out there run some routes, prove that you can be a quality pass catcher as well. So
Mhm.
hope to see that as well for you. When you're running around, maybe doing some of those other drills, like is somebody helping you like with your speed and all of that, like doing your three cones and all that? Like you got some work in on that?
Absolutely. That's what we did today, as a matter of fact. Underneath Ryan Fowler, he's a really good tactician when it comes to stuff like that. He's a real stickler for how they're going to judge it because he's been there a couple of times, especially when he worked at LSU. He got a lot of exposure doing drills like that. So just giving like little techniques, a little tidbits to help your time or nick off a few milliseconds, stuff like that. It's an amazing thing having him on our side, for sure.
Great. So, hey, as we wrap up this interview, I do want to give you one last opportunity to really speak to some of those scouts out there who might want to know a little bit more about you. Or, obviously some guys that are trying to pick you apart a little bit, but I want you to give them really just your pitch as to why they should take a chance on you, maybe draft you, sign you, and what kind of teammate you would be for their program. So go ahead and hit them with your pitch.
My pitch is first and foremost, everybody wants a winner. Everywhere I've gone, whether that was high school to junior college to UTSA, a championship has followed. And I've been a leader on all those teams. After that, I'm a guy that's unselfish. I'm extremely unselfish. I want to win more than anything. If that's being a practice player guy, giving whoever the starter is a look, or being the starter guy, that's fine with me. I have no problem with scout team or anything like that. I'm a blocker first, and you'll be very surprised at how well I can run routes and my speed for my size. Absolutely. Um, when it comes to anything football related, I am a complete child to the game. I want to study and learn everything. I want to be a sponge, and I try to be a real savant when it comes to it.
Great. Well, I mean, obviously, you had, kind of talked about being a really good student of the game. A guy, like we've already mentioned, a very unselfish, team player, who's willing to do really just the dirty work there that a lot of people may not want to do, and that is, block. And, for some teams that maybe want to utilize you as such, I mean, they're going to get a quality blocker for sure. I mean, I know that that's really within your wheelhouse. That's really what we're selling you as. But I mean, I know that whenever you get out there for your pro day, you're going to show some guys that you're, an exceptional, catcher as well. So I do wish you best of luck moving forward, buddy, and everything else you got going on. All right.
Thank you so much.
All right. Again, I got with me Leroy Watson. He's a tight end out of UTSA. Definitely check him out.